With the #1 ranked campus in Michigan and the top ranked residence halls in the nation, you'll be sure to feel right at home in your new Cardinal nest. While housing is not mandatory, over 65% of freshmen choose to live on campus each year. Our first-year students have two options for living on campus, the first-year suites and the living centers. The first-year suites feature 4 single-occupancy bedrooms, a kitchenette, and a central location on campus, so everything is just a few steps away. Our living centers feature a full kitchen, 4- and 5-person apartments with single-occupancy bedrooms, and double and triple efficiency studio-style units. All of our housing facilities have their own private bathrooms, so you don't need to worry about walking down the hall to take a shower. Depending on what you're looking for, we have many options for you to choose the housing style that best fits your needs. Many of our students in their second year and beyond choose to live on campus as well in Pine Grove, University Village, and Living Center South. There are so many options to be able to live where is best for you. The townhouse and apartment style housing in Pine Grove and University Village feature many room styles including 4-bedroom units with 4 students and 4 individual bedrooms, 2-bedroom shared units with 4 students and 2 shared bedrooms, 2-bedroom units with 2 students and 2 individual bedrooms, and single efficiency studio styles units with 1 student and 1 bedroom. One great benefit at SVSU is that laundry is included for all residential students. Our students' biggest tip is to bring a basket or cart on wheels to help transport your laundry. The laundry facilities are all close by, but it'll help to save you some upper arm strength. All of our housing facilities are furnished, and while you don't need to buy any furniture, you should definitely bring decorations to personalize your space and make it your own. If you and your roommates agree, you can add furniture to the shared spaces, but our furnishings must remain in the room. When you're deciding what to bring, keep in mind that all of our beds are considered twin extra long. If you want to raise your bed up to make some additional space, you can also rent a loft kit from housing for $50, and it will be delivered to your room. All of our housing units are fully equipped with cable television hookups, so you're welcome to bring a TV to relax with some Netflix after a day of classes. Free Wi-Fi is also available in all housing areas and all throughout campus, so you can stay in your room to study if you don't want to go to the library. A new streaming service was also purchased for your entertainment as well. For both first-year students and returning students, parking is included and conveniently located near all of our housing facilities. All you have to do is register your vehicle with our campus parking services. As always, our top priority is to keep campus safe for our students. To access our living centers or first-year suites, you will need to present your student ID at the front door and use your brass key for your main unit door or bedroom. In addition to call buttons on campus, our helpful university police serves our campus community. Also, resident assistants and resident directors are always on duty living in our residential areas, so you always have someone available to call if you ever need anything or to assist with your transition to on-campus living. These resident assistants, like myself, are student employees who live in assigned areas of SVSU housing and support our students living on campus. Packages from home are always a fun surprise. If you live on campus, all mail and packages are delivered Monday through Friday, and you will get an email with a code to pick up your package from one of our parcel lockers in the lobby of MJ Brandamore House. To contract for housing, you will need to complete your housing contract online and submit your $200 prepayment. Here, you will also be able to indicate your living preferences and roommate requests. Our hardworking housing staff is committed to doing their best to place you with your housing style and roommates of choice. If you're anything like me, you probably have a lot of questions about living on campus. Hopefully, this answered a few, but please feel free to share any specific questions you have in our live Q&A so that we can answer them for you now. Go Cards!
Hi everyone, and welcome to our virtual Valley visit. Today we're going to be talking all about housing and residential life here at SVSU. Please feel free to submit any questions that you have into the chat feature and we'll do our best to answer them for you. My name is Danielle and I'm joined today by Courtney, one of our extraordinary RAs who you just saw in the previous video. So Courtney, why don't you start off and give a little introduction about yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Courtney. I am a third-year student at SVSU pursuing a degree in occupational therapy. On campus, I am also a resident assistant, or an RA. Part of my role as an RA is that I create programs to promote community within our residential halls. I really strive to build relationships with all of my residents that way they can make SVSU their home, and I also ensure that safety standards are met in our residence halls. So I'm really just there to be a resource for our students.
That's great, thanks Courtney. So we've got a couple questions starting off about pets. I've got a two-part question for you. So the first part is, are goldfish allowed on campus? And going with that, are pets permitted with your roommate agreement?
Goldfish are allowed on campus. We do allow non-carnivorous fish inside our residence halls, but pets themselves are not, regardless of what the roommate agreement is. So, but fish are allowed. I actually have a fish of my own in my own dorm, so those are really cool.
Great. So what is one of your favorite parts of living on campus?
Oh my goodness. I think my favorite part on living on campus is the community aspect of it. Wherever I go, I see people that I know, and there's always a welcoming face there. Our RAs and our other residential and housing staff do such an amazing job of creating programs for students to do throughout the residential life experience, and they really get to know each and every student. Within my first semester at SVSU, I could not walk across campus without knowing somebody. So living on campus, you really feel like you have a home. It is your home away from home.
That's great. That's exactly how I felt living on campus too. We have one. No, it's such a great experience to get to do that. Another question too. So do all of the rooms in a suite have windows?
Yes, they do. They are varying in sizes, but that is one of the huge benefits of living on campus is you can always have that natural light in all of the suites.
That was always a perk when the weather was nice to get to open the blinds and have the sun coming in. And what are some of the do's and don'ts for things to bring to campus if you're going to be living here?
So do bring a laundry basket, especially one with wheels that will make getting back and forth to the laundry room very easily. Do bring a form of storage. I don't know about any students watching, but I brought a lot of clothes my first year, so I definitely needed the extra storage to bring with me. Well, we do have facilities, you have drawers that you can use, but I liked kind of having my own little shelves to utilize. Do bring leisure activities if you enjoy reading, if you're interested in watching TV, that is something that you should bring. As for don'ts, that's a good question. Don't bring anything you wouldn't traditionally use at home. Do bring your study material, but don't bring anything that you don't necessarily foresee yourself using. And also remember your toiletries too. That's a huge do bring. Bring your paper. I forgot to bring paper towel my first year, and I'm like, man, I really need this. So we had to take a shopping trip.
Yeah, I definitely agree on both of those because I definitely overpacked coming in, so I needed all of the storage space I could get, and I think under the bed and over the door storage was something that came in really handy to be able to utilize all of that free space that you have. So another question is, in the first year suites, do the individual bedroom doors lock?
Yes, they do, and you actually have your own. This is a huge part of the safety that I love. You have your own individual key to your room. So your specific key will only work for your bedroom. So they do lock, and you have access to your bedroom.
Yeah, that was really nice for me knowing that I could leave anything I wanted, in my room, and my TV, everything was safe. I could lock my door, and I was the only one who had that key. So what is something to kind of expect when you're living with roommates, if someone has never done that before?
So for living with roommates, this was actually my first, coming into SVSU, I came in not knowing a single person that was inside my room. And for me, this was also my first time having roommates. So for kind of just advice looking ahead, knowing to live with roommates, be okay with sharing space. You are going to come in with an open mind as well, that these people, they're going to be pursuing different degrees and different career paths, and they're going to also find ways to get active on campus. But coming in as your first year, also remember that they are in the same boat as you. They are trying to figure out college and they are trying to adjust to the living environments. So it is really cool to bond with your roommates in that way, that everybody's coming from a different experience, but you're uniting with the common experience of this being your first time at SVSU. So personally, for me, what worked out really well was leaving my door open, because that way when I saw my roommates, they could come in and we could say hi. But it was also, I still had that space to study. Communication is also key with living with roommates. Being able to respectfully and be approachable to your roommates, to communicate things that may be going on in your lives, but also be just up there for having fun, enjoying your first college experience respectfully and safely. But being able to go to those campus events with roommates is definitely a huge plus.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on the having like an open door policy and being able to bond with people, because I remember my first floor meeting the first night I moved in, and it was, we all looked around and realized we were in the same boat here, all living together, and so I got to meet a lot of great friends, not only in my room but on my floor and in my building. So for you, Courtney, too, if a student is, they're living on campus and they need help with something, like who can they go to assist them?
RA, your RA is such a great first step. Speaking personally as an RA, I am attached to my email. I think I have about a 5-minute average for answering my residents' emails. I try to get them really quick. You will also be provided the number for the RA duty phone, so you will have access to call your RA on duty. They are there to support you. They are there to get you connected. They are such a great resource for you, and we are here to help. Your RA is such an amazing resource. They are gonna, personally, I try to create programs specific to some residents that I know they're going to enjoy. I answer questions, and if I don't know the answer, I know who I can connect them with to get them the help and support they need. So you're all right. You will actually get a little tag when you move in that has the duty phone number on it, and there will be the duty phone number listed on your door if you need that help.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you're an excellent RA, and all of my RAs that I had were super helpful, and having that resource just like a few doors away is so nice. And another question. Oh, go ahead, Courtney.
No, we all live on campus too, and you will have access to where our dorms are. Personally, I post where I am located. Like if I'm at my dorm, a lot of us are okay with you just coming and knocking. So we are on campus, and you'll have access to see us personally as well. Or do virtual meetings too, if that is something that's more comfortable.
Great. We have another question that came in. So are there TV mounts in the first year suites or a place to mount a TV?
Not necessarily mount. You can set your TV on your desk is an option, and specifically for the first year suites, there are shelves, but not mounting. And then there's a cable hookup for your TV there as well. Great.
So what is something for you, Courtney, that you wish that you knew kind of before you came into campus and moved into SVSU?
Sure. So I moved in from a really small school, and I guess I wish I knew how many possibilities were out there. When I came in, I thought I had to choose what I was going to do right immediately, so I turned down actually a lot of opportunities to get involved within my first year. So I wish I would have known to take that extra step and to get out of my comfort zone. When you move in, and within the first week, we have what's called Welcome Week, where there are a ton of different organizations and student involvements to get your foot in the door. So I wish someone would have told me just to say yes to going to things, say yes to being okay, to going by yourself and making those new relationships. Say yes to maybe pursuing something you didn't think you'd ever pursue before. But it will really get you, that's how you build the community at SVSU, is by making those connections, meeting new people, and trying things that you didn't ever know you would actually enjoy. That is something that I wish I would have known coming in, and I didn't actually find out until about my second year at college.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest benefits for me of getting to live on campus is I felt like I had so much access to so many opportunities and there were always things going on campus. And for me, I came in as a freshman super shy, like had no idea what to expect, and all of those experiences were the things that kind of developed me into who I am. And I learned so much from just being able to live on campus and be close to all the activity that was going on. And it's been great that even this year with COVID, there's still been a ton of things going on campus. They're just done, safely and socially distanced, so that it's been a really great experience to be able to do that. So Courtney, you touched on a little bit too that as an RA, you get to kind of host events, and we have different events on campus. Can you describe what some of those are like?
Yeah, so the events are really just a great way to come together either with friends or by yourself and build community. Our different programs and events are tailored to either community building, health and wellness, mental health. We have stress relieving programs. They are just a great way for you to take a break from maybe academics just to get away for a minute and enjoy yourselves. Personally speaking, for my own programs, my first program was a scavenger hunt where you by yourself or with your roommates were able to go around campus taking virtual pictures of yourself doing tours. And this was a great way for students to, one, get a view of what the campus looks like, but also make friends doing it. And with all of these events, we want you there. We want you to be a part of what's going on campus. We want you to join. I always get so excited seeing new people at all of my programs. So it is one of the most inclusive parts about campus, I think. And it's a great way to, again, make that community and to just have a fun time. They're really enjoyable.
Yeah, my RAs used to put on some great events too. I have lots of tie-dye t-shirts from those that me and my roommates would all go do, and those were definitely a hit in our room. So Courtney, for someone who maybe hasn't been to campus before, hasn't been here in a while, like how would you describe where our housing is in relation to maybe where your classes might be or where everything is on campus?
Convenient. Speaking as a health science major, and the health science building being one of the farthest away from actually where I live, it is only a 10-minute walk. And and I grabbed coffee on my way too. I passed by the Starbucks, which is amazing. So it is really convenient. For a lot of our freshman housing, you are less than a 5-minute walk from everything. For first year suites and the MJ Brandamore house, it takes about 2 minutes to get to our marketplace, which is where we get food on campus. For your classes, a lot of your classes will be kind of in the central area, just another 2-minute walk. Your housing is going to be very central to where everything is located. And we also have housing maps and little maps of campus, and everybody's willing to help you too if you get lost. So it's really easy to find everything and easy to get to where you need to go.
Yeah, that was definitely something I was happy about, especially in the Michigan winters where it is freezing and everything is close, and a lot of the buildings are connected inside, so you don't have to be outside in the cold for too long. So the housing is definitely in a great location. I've got another question for us too. So do each of the individual rooms in the first year suites have bunk beds in them?
Yes, I believe they do come with the bunk beds inside of them. It's kind of like a loft style.
Yes, our first year suites, they used to house more students, and we've reduced them back, especially now with COVID, so that people can have individual bedrooms. And the bunk beds remain in there, but you can set up your room so that there's space under the bed. You can loft it, you can move things around. They just remain in the rooms for now. Because Courtney, and one way that you can make a lot of space in your room is to loft your bed. And I know we mentioned in the video that we have loft kits for rent for $50. And Courtney, you have that in your room, don't you?
I do. Again, going back to a lot of storage, I slid my dresser underneath my loft kit to make more space. And it is such a benefit. It really makes your room feel, we have really big rooms to start off with, but it really makes your room feel so much bigger. I know people who have put chairs underneath or slid their desk under, and it's almost a little cove for them. It is a really nice addition to just personalize your room, open up some space, and it still feels comfy and secure as well.
There's so many different ways that you can kind of set up your rooms to really make it your own and figure out what works best for you. And so what is something that you would suggest, Courtney, for when people are kind of coordinating with their roommates about what to bring or how you're going to set up your room?
For sure. So one of the things I would coordinate if you drink coffee like myself is somebody bringing a coffee maker, or is somebody bringing appliances and silverware. For specific room decorations, we have chairs provided when inside of all of our facilities. There's already a desk there, there's already a kitchen table there. But if you're interested in decorating, coordinating, if you're specific, coordinating what the scheme is going to be, who is bringing the extra furniture. Again, silverware was one. Cleaning appliances are another great thing to coordinate. Things like toilet paper, paper towel. Are you bringing dish rags? Is somebody bringing dish soap? All those things. Is somebody bringing a vacuum? You are able to rent freely our vacuums through our residence halls, but sometimes people prefer to have their own. So is that something that you would like to coordinate as well?
Yeah, that's some great advice. I know me and my roommates tried to talk to each other a little bit beforehand, and that made things way easier so that we weren't bringing 3 of everything coming in. And so for me, I know one of the things that I loved about living on campus was that it made the access to so many activities easier, like when we have homecoming or BOV. And Courtney, what do you think are just some of the advantages to being on campus, to being close to all of that activity that we have going on?
As I mentioned before, it's just convenient. Campus life is amazing. I didn't know that a place could fit so many events in throughout a day to be accessible to students. So living on campus really just makes that easier. There are many times that my friends, my roommates, and I have been walking to get food at the marketplace, and we pass what's called a wedge lounge, which is a little room where sometimes people use for programming events. And we just stop in there because we're on our way to grab some food and end up scrapbooking or doing a different type of event. It is really, really easy to get involved in on-campus events if you are actually living here. And it's, again, convenient. A lot of the events are going to be less than a 2-minute walk from you. It's a great way to build those connections, to make that community, to get to know your RA, come to your RA's programs. That's a huge way to be able to get to know everybody.
Yeah, I feel like it made it so much easier to get involved in things by living on campus, because sometimes I'd find out about an event that my roommate would tell me about that was, it was going to be in 10 minutes, and it was only a 5-minute walk to get there, and we could just go decide to watch a movie at Valley Nights the day of. And you have so much more access to those things, and even just walking around campus, you can see, oh, there's this table set up, there's this thing going on, and it makes it so much easier to have everything just in one place like that, because you will never be bored. There's always things going on, and that makes it really fun. And we have another question that came in. So for first-year housing, there's doors on the outside. So what is the living area called that has the entrance inside the building rather than the outside? So I think they're mainly asking about the living centers versus the first-year suites. So if you can explain those a little bit, Courtney.
Sure. So for the living centers, this includes our Living Center South, Living Center Southwest, and our MJ Brandonmore House. So these living centers are going to be accessible through your student ID you'll get. You'll scan your student ID at the front door, and you'll just walk in, and you're suddenly inside. From this point, to actually get inside your room, you are going to have a brass key. So that brass key is going to unlock your actual, whether it be a suite or individual door. So that's the layout for inside. For the outside living facilities, like our first-year housing, our freshman housing, our first-year suites, same thing with that brass key. There's a gate. So you are going to take your student ID, scan it, and that will pop open the gate for you. You'll walk inside to the outside, inside the little gated area, and you'll use your brass key to get into your suite.
Yeah, that was a good explanation. So essentially, for the first-year suites, you'll come to the doorway outside, and once you get in, you'll still be outside until you get to your specific room. And they're in different houses, is what they're called. And then for the living centers, you walk in the front door and you're automatically in the lobby there, and everything is then inside as you get to all those different rooms. I almost thought of it as kind of like a hotel floor. And both of those are options that are available to our first-year students. You can live in either type of housing, whatever you think will suit you best. And now, Courtney, someone's asking, will you know who your roommates are prior to the move-in date?
Yes, you will. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't exactly know the timeline, but you will be notified of who your roommates are per housing email, and this will allow you to coordinate kind of among your roommates.
Yeah, usually about June or July, you'll get an email that all the housing has been posted. So you'll see who your roommates are and what room that you're in. And so another great resource that we have too, if maybe you don't know someone coming in SVSU, you don't know who you're living with, but you kind of want to find a roommate ahead of time, is you can follow SVSU 2025 on Instagram, and you can post a little bio about yourself, and you can mention that you're looking for a roommate, and you can get to know some of your incoming class even before you step foot on campus, and that can help you kind of meet people, get to find people who maybe have some similar interests as you, and possibly find a roommate. But even if you don't, I went in completely blind. I didn't know my roommates at all. And housing will take your preferences that you have on your housing contract, and they will use that to try to put you with people with similar interests as you. Or maybe you say that you're an early riser, they'll try to pair you with an early riser. They do such a good job of trying to make sure that you get to live with who you want or with people who it seems like you would live well with. And I know for me, I came in and there were 6 of us that all lived together, and they paired us up to a T. They did such a good job of, none of us knew each other, but it was a great experience because they all paired us kind of based on our interests. And so, Courtney, how soon should someone submit their housing contract?
As soon as possible. As soon as possible. So it is by a first come, first served basis. So the sooner you submit your housing contract, the more likely you are to receive the preferences that you have. So more likely to get the housing style you'd like, more likely to get your roommates. So as soon as you can, that is perfect.
Yep, and with your housing contract, you'll submit a $200 prepayment. And on our website, we have a video tutorial that'll show you exactly how to get to your contract, how to get to the prepayment, and how to do everything. So it's all a digital form, but yes, the sooner you get it in, the better. And it's out of the way, so you don't have to think about it anymore. So, Courtney, what has your experience been specifically like? Where did you live your first year, and where do you live now?
Okay, so my first year, I lived in Living Center South. This is one of our living centers, very similar to the style of MJ Brandon House, which is one of our freshman-specific housing facilities, and I was in a suite. So I had an individual bedroom, but I had about 5 other roommates with me, and we shared a common area. So we shared a living room, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and kind of like a little dining area. And my experience with that was honestly amazing. I really enjoyed my roommates. It was again conveniently located on campus, so I'd make so many late night food runs. It was crazy. I was able to get active on a lot of our campus events. It was just a really great experience. Currently, I live in our university villages, which are our upperclassmen housing. These are like little townhomes. I have my individual bedroom, but I share my area with 3 other roommates. There's a downstairs level where we share a bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen. And then upstairs, that's where our bedrooms are located, and we have another bathroom up there as well. Both are such amazing places. You really have a lot of room. Again, you still are allowed that privacy, but you're also able to bond with your roommates, and it's so convenient in all of our residential halls.
Yeah, that was similar to my experience. I lived in Living Center Southwest in a suite style first, then I also lived in University Village and Pine Grove, and they're all different, but all great in different ways, and it's really awesome to be able to pick what suits your style of living the best or where you want to be on campus, so the options are definitely great. And Courtney, for you, kind of coming in as a freshman, how do you feel like the whole process of adjusting to living on campus went for you? Because that can be pretty intimidating coming into college, and all of a sudden you're, not only are you, starting college and starting all these classes, but you're also living in a new place.
This was one of the smoothest transitions I think it could have possibly been. Even from move-in day, you are greeted with smiling faces. RAs are helping you move. There's SVSU staff is helping you get situated, making sure that we get you where we need you, like where you need to be. It is very convenient. I was actually really intimidated coming in, but once I got to those SVSU door, like the SVSU sign, pretty much all my anxieties left. I saw people that I knew cared for me. And then on actually moving in and trying to adjust to not only my new academic life, but my new residential life, there are people at every step of the way to help you and that want to help you. Even my professors, I know as a freshman, they were interested in how I was doing. They wanted to be there to support me. My RA was there. We had a floor meeting where I could get to know people that were on my floor that I was living with, but it was also a great way to answer questions or to get questions answered and to get to know my RA. There are, again, people, you will get emails upon emails from, whether it be housing, residential life, from your professors, just stretching out that open hand of how can we best support you. And it's really in that perfect mix where you're able to spread your wings and fly on your own if you'd like, or you're able to grab someone's hand and kind of get a lead through. It was a very smooth transition. There was never a step of the way that I felt lost or that I didn't know who to turn to.
That's great. I'm so glad that you had such a good experience, because that's really similar to mine too. That was one of the things I was most intimidated about coming into college, but it really couldn't have gone any better. And my RA was there to greet me with a smiling face right away, and I still remember that. All of my roommates, like, it was such a great experience, and I think that, I was lucky it couldn't have gone any better. And that's just kind of how everybody at SVSU is. They want to help you do all that and succeed. So for everybody, we've got just a few minutes left, so if you have any last minute questions for me or Courtney, please feel free to submit them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer any questions you have. And while we're waiting for any more questions, Courtney, how do you feel about just kind of the overall safety of living on campus?
It's extremely safe. For step one, we have our university police are just strictly SVSU police officers that are right on campus. They, around campus, we have little blue buttons that if you need something, you can click one of those buttons and a police officer will be there super duper quick to help you succeed. They also offer escorts. So on our SVSU website, just search SVSU University Police, there is a phone number listed at the bottom of the website. And if you call that, a police officer will actually escort you, whether it be from your dorm to another location, from the parking lot. Our parking is also very close to a lot of our residential halls, so there's not a far walk. Similarly, your RA is doing duty rounds at night, where we are making sure that everybody is being safe, that everything is up to code, and that there's no concerns at the time when we pass through at night. Similarly, as I mentioned, with the student ID and brass keys, you have that security going into your room that you're the only person that's going to be able to get inside there. Your RAs are there to help. Our university police officers are there to help. It is a very, very safe experience.
Yeah, I know for me, my mom's biggest concern coming in was that, I was safe wherever I was going when I went away to school. And even she was put at ease when I told her about all of the things at SVSU and how safe that I felt on campus. So it definitely is, a weight off your shoulders to know that you get to feel safe on campus. And Courtney, someone asked if they don't have a car, should they bring a bike if they have one?
Yes, you can bring a bike, and you can actually also register your bike with University Police. That's another little secure thing. But I love my bike. Personally, there's a trail that goes around campus that I just go on bike rides on because it's really enjoyable. But it's also really nice for getting to classes. Again, the walk to class, really, it's about a 2-minute walk depending on where you are, but it's still nice to be able to ride your bike if you're woke up late for a morning class and need to be there in a pinch. So I personally definitely suggest a bike because I've enjoyed it, but I also have roommates that don't have bikes and they also just enjoy walking too. So whatever, floats your boat.
Yeah, I wish I would have brought my bike, especially in the falls when the leaves are changing color on campus. It would definitely be a pretty bike ride. And so Courtney, even though that this is something that's pretty uncommon and doesn't happen too much, if someone has a roommate and they're not getting along with them for whatever reason, how is this kind of resolved or handled?
Really good question. So upon the beginning of the year, yourself and your roommate or roommates will submit a roommate agreement. And this is right when you all move in. It is going to outline kind of cleanliness standards, how are we going to communicate with each other if a problem arises, what is the length of communication that we're going to go to. So it's really that first step one of let's make sure we're on the same page. If problems do occur, We always first encourage you to talk about it with your roommate, but you also have your RA there to help you. So send your RA an email, reach out to them, and then the RA can then work with yourself and the roommates to create a solution. We will often meet as a group with everybody considered to hear concerns and to also mediate those solutions. So you're not just there on your own. That is part of your RA's job. Is we want you to be happy and feel safe in your environment and to be able to get along with your roommates. So again, the roommate agreement starts it all off, but if there are problems, please reach out to your RA and they can give you guidance and also meet with anybody as need be.
Yeah, that's some great advice, Courtney. And so someone else just asked when move-in day is. And so, Courtney, we've got our classes start on August 30th this year. So why don't you just give a little rundown of how that move-in week and that welcome week goes for freshmen?
For sure. Typically for freshmen, they begin moving a week in prior to classes, depending on the last name and involvements that are on campus. It kind of depends where you're located. But that begins with that first week. You have your welcome week where the freshmen are starting to move in, get used to their dorm, meet their roommates if they have roommates, and just you have that week of getting used to campus life. And then classes start. Personally for me, a couple days before my classes began, I started going and walking around with my roommates to all of my classes to see where those were located at. So move in again. It starts about a week before classes. That way you have that time to get adjusted and to see where you're going to be studying and participating in.
Yeah, welcome week is so great because there's so many events going on campus to, teach you about what's going on, all the different clubs, and there's some orientation events for freshmen. And it's great that, for when you're moving in, we've got golf carts and all of our awesome RAs are there to help you move in, so you don't have to carry everything. So it really is a team effort and it makes everything go so smoothly. And then you get here and there's a million fun things to do, which is a great way to start off the year. And so as we're wrapping up, just a few housekeeping items before you guys leave. If you haven't done so, make sure that you reserve your SOAR orientation date or schedule a date to take a campus tour. So SOAR is our freshman orientation where you will come either this spring or summer and we'll get your ID and everything all set and you'll get to hang out with our awesome orientation leaders who will teach you everything that you need to know. So we've got that ready to schedule up on our website, as well as a campus visit if you haven't been here before, or if it's been a while, we have in-person campus tours going on. So I just saw some tour guides walking around today with some families, so it was great to stop and say hi. And then if you're all in with SVSU, make sure to share the reasons why with your friends and encourage them to apply or join us for this month for these other virtual Valley visits. We've got 3 more coming up. One is on dining. The next one is academic support services, and then student life. So we're going to teach you about a bunch of different aspects of SVSU so that you can feel prepared, excited, and ready to come and be a Cardinal, because we are so excited to have you. So thank you, Courtney, so much, and thank all of you for joining us to learn more about the #1 dorms in Michigan. And we will see you next week as we talk about all of the dining options on campus. So thank you, and go Cards.